Hi there, I'm Ken Lammers. Welcome to Minor League Matters. And this week we're going to talk about, well, more logos. It's going to be another logo showdown week, if you will. Um, this week it's going to be soccer because soccer is starting to gin up. Everybody's getting all excited. Every time I dare to turn on Twitter, I get 9 million tweets from everything from leagues that I'm really interested in, like the USL, to leagues I could give a hoot about, like the MLS, to leagues I'm interested in and kind of like NWSL and that sort of thing. I'm getting lots and lots of tweets about soccer. They're all trying to gin up the interest. And so we're going to do the soccer logos and compare them. We're going to start out with the National Premier Soccer League, and then we're going to do the USL East. Then we're going to do the Premier Development League, and then we're going to do USL West. Then we're going to do the National Women's Soccer League, which really isn't a minor league. It actually is funner to watch than the MLS is, that's for sure. But we're going to count it in here, and then finally we'll do a which one's the best of the best of the best episode, right? So today we start with the National Premier Soccer League, and let's get cracking. Okay, so here we go. Here's the first group of them. I got to say, from both the National Premier Soccer League and when we get to the PDL, it's the same way. I was not able to. I'm not going to go through every single team in these leagues. These are semi-professional leagues, the kind of thing where you play soccer and have a job, probably. Um, but there's a gazillion teams in each of them, and I went through and the ones that caught my eye made the first cut, and now they're each broken into three groups, and we'll see which make the next cut. Here we go. We look at here. I like Boston City FC's. The color scheme is pretty good. The red at the bottom, the white in the middle, the blue at the top. Not a fan of the lion standing on the soccer ball. I don't know why the lion is such a big thing for so many of these soccer teams. But I do like the color scheme, the way it breaks apart the shield, and I think it's a pretty good representation. Easily identifiable, good representation. The Dayton Dutch Lions, stars across the top. I like the breakdown of white on the top and light blue on the bottom. The Lions not so terrible. It's not great either. I mean, these are things you would see on a coat of arms somewhere. It's just not a great thing. I'm not sure what's with the Dayton Dutch Lions. When I looked around, there were a bunch of Dutch Lions from different cities, right? Cincinnati, at one point, I don't know if they still exist, and other cities. So I assume they're all attached together, but I don't know how they all run together. Detroit City FC, one of the more unique logos in all of soccerdom. That is a statue on there on the front, and I think it's called the Spirit of Detroit. Very unique to the city, very recognizable by people from the city. Good color scheme, a unique logo. It's a good solid good logo. Then we get Boca Raton. Boca Raton's an okay logo. It's not spectacular. It's not terrible either. I like the boat in the middle, the galleon, whatever it is exactly in the middle, ship. It's a solid enough logo. Circle logos are always not the greatest, but it's okay. The torch, which is Sports Ministries. I did not realize that this was a religious team until I had actually said, well, I'm going to pull that one up. It's a pretty solid logo, well put together. Somebody put some thought and time and effort into putting it together. Who knows? Maybe they had a press team put it together or something. I'm going to assume the flames aren't the flames of hell, but are actually the flames of the Holy Spirit, because that would make a lot more sense for a ministry. It's a pretty good logo, and it catches the eye, decent colors and all. The City of Angels Football Club. this is really kind of unique. You do not see a lot of football clubs or any sports really using dogs as their logo. Having a dog here is different. I like it. I mean, it's a bold logo that stands out. The kind of gold background on the or gold or brown background on it's not the greatest in the world, but I like the way they use the dog there. It's a good bold logo. And then we got AFC Ann Arbor. You know, they've got the tree, kind of a passive blue, blue on blue, light blue, dark blue. It's a good enough logo, and it stands out well enough if you put it on the jersey that it's a pretty decent logo. Of all these, though, I gotta say, Detroit's is the best of these, and so I'm gonna say that the City of Angels was close second. Um, and third is probably Boston City, but Detroit carries through. I mean, it's a simple enough logo. It means something to the people where it comes from, and it is a unique to the city. So I'm going to go with that one. Now here we have the next group of them. Now if it was me and I hadn't already made this rule saying you can't pick the mothership's logo and use it, I would just go straight to the New York Cosmos here because I think New York Cosmos have one of the best old logos in soccer in the United States. It is a shame that the Cosmos are going to fold up again now that the MLS has managed to drive the NASL out of business in cooperation with United States Soccer. You know, yeah, it's kind of a shame, and I'm not going to choose them here because this is like one of their lower level teams, and uh, if it looks like the motherships, I'm not going to choose it. We get up here, the New Orleans Jesters. New Orleans Jesters. That's a pretty cool logo with fleur de lis that's kind of in the shape of a jester's hat on top of the soccer ball. It's pretty decent and kind of humorous. We get down to the bottom right here, Katy FC 1895. Obviously, that is the state of Texas's flag and their state silhouette, and it's kind of okay. Pretty solid, easily identifiable, obviously, except maybe in Texas, where I suspect others might do the same thing. But not like the greatest, not the greatest graphics in the world, really. I like the Minneapolis City Soccer Club. That's unique, and it's well thought out and well done. And simple, easily identifiable. I've not seen anyone really look like that one other than it, and that's a really solid logo. Um, Kalamazoo, uh, first glance is a pretty decent logo. The colors kind of washed out. The motto, "My town, my team," is okay. Not terribly inspiring, but okay. But it's too cluttered, and the color scheme's not great. Um, Junior Lone Star. I thought this was a Texas team at first, but apparently it's some northern team, like from Philadelphia or something like that, right? Which would kind of make sense on the colors. Uh, that's a good, solid logo. It's basic United States red, white, and blue. It's kind of got Washington's logo flipped upside down. And I like the fact that it looks a little bit different than you see most shields. FC Buffalo makes it in here with a good color scheme, but let's be honest, and I like the shield shape, but let's be honest, the inside of it is just a little bit too cluttered, right? It's just not great because it's cluttered. Now, having already knocked out New York Cosmos in this, I really come down between Minneapolis and the New Orleans Jesters, um, and the Junior Lone Star. Junior Lone Star, the red, white, and blue thing. Yeah, it's done a lot, and while it's a good logo, I don't know that it stands out really from a whole lot of other logos. Um, Minneapolis and New Orleans. This is a tight one, folks. I mean, I really like that Minneapolis one, but I think that the New Orleans Jesters is just a little bit better. So it's going to be one that carries through from here. And now we have the next group of them. Up here on the top right, we have the Temecula. I'm sorry, I know I'm mispronouncing that somehow. Um, but it looks like a pheasant on top of a soccer ball. It's a little bit primitive drawing, but it is very unique, and I like it. But it is kind of looks like somebody sketched it out on their kitchen table one day. Virginia Beach City. Yes, again, we have tridents, which we always get from the Virginia Beach area and that sort of thing. The shape is unique. I just, and generally, I'm a fan of kind of that color scheme, blue and gold, or and black would be okay, but somehow this just doesn't mesh really well, and I doubt that looks all that great on a jersey. Uh, Rhode Island Reds, I like this. It says what it is what it says. I like the fact that it cuts the shield in half, so you kind of got the colors differentiating. It says what it is across the top, Rhode Island Reds, and then the bottom, it's got a rooster there, which is a Rhode Island Red. I'm not sure what's the deal with the circle and the stars around it. It kind of detracts from it and clutters it, but I do like that one. Sacramento Gold is just a little too cluttered. I mean, the color scheme's pretty good. The gold and the blue, it looks professionally drawn, which isn't a bad thing. But it actually kind of looks over professional and over cluttered, and that one's going to pass by. FC Wichita, very solid colors, very well put together, very identifiable. I'm pretty sure in the middle is supposed to be some sort of local, Native American type of logo. Don't hold me to that, but it's kind of what it looks like. I think that's a really solid, good logo. And then we get Pierce County FC, kind of washed out blue on less washed out blue. Um, the soccer ball in the middle that kind of radiates outward on the circle. It's a good logo, and depending on what your color scheme is, if you have a color scheme something like Brighton does, Brighton Hove Albion, that might work pretty well. I come through here, and while I like Temecula, it's just a little bit too primitive. And Rhode Island Reds, again, I like it, but the circle with the stars on it probably needs to go away. It clutters it up too much. They probably should just, make the rooster a little bit larger. And with that, I think I'm left with FC Wichita out of this. Pretty good, bold color scheme, good art, solid logo that's going to look good on your kit, on your jersey. That leaves us with these three, folks. The New Orleans Jesters, the FC Wichita, and Detroit City FC. And as I look through these, I'm going to kind of leave the Jesters out. They may have squeaked past the Minneapolis, but it's just the shield in the background kind of makes it not as good as it could be, right? If they just left that shield off, it might be a better logo. And then we get Detroit City. Detroit City is well put together, well drawn. The only problem with Detroit Cities, I mean, it's easily identifiable, but nobody knows what that is if you're not from Detroit. I had to look it up, and while I'm sure it's inspirational to the people of Detroit, for those of us who are not from Detroit, it really carries no meaning, right? And so I think we're left here with FC Wichita. It's a pretty good, bold color scheme. It is, well put together, well thought out. It's not overly crowded, but on the other hand, it's enough that you can see where it is. It's simple, and it will look good on a jersey, assuming you do your color scheme right on the jersey. So that one's going to be what I say is the top of the National Premier Soccer League. Okay, that's it for this one. You got any comments? Leave them down below. Promise I'll try to read them, but I cannot promise that I will reply because, got the day job, folks. Got to earn money somewhere now that YouTube has decided it isn't going to pay anybody. And beyond that, if you like this particular video, hit like. If you like what you're seeing around here generally, hit subscribe, and then go watch every video 9 million times. Leave them streaming on your computer at home when you're gone, because that's the only way YouTube is allowing anybody to make money anymore, if they get their stuff streamed a whole heck of a lot. And having said all that, I'm going to give the most important piece of advice I ever give. Go watch some minor league sports. Have a good day.